Good morning, guys. You know what time it is. It's time for tactics. So it's early in the morning of Thursday, August 28th. I just went through a really complex tactics puzzle I wanted to share with you, and let's just get started. So white moves from here to here, attacking my queen. Now, positionally speaking, white's king looks really vulnerable, but how to exploit that's really the question. I mean, do we do a knight check? It's probably a knight check either on G2 or D3 because we have that battery set up between the queen and the rook on the F file, the queen on F5 and the rook on F8. So initially that's where my mind goes. And so let's just play around with some different sequences. Now, when we do these tactics, how I do it is I like to go through each of them from start to finish, as you should, and don't make any moves until you see it all the way through, because in a game, it's touch moves. So you can't just, make one move at a time and go through it one move at a time. You got to go through the entire sequence, and that's how you should think about it. So let's go with the knight takes G2 check sequences. So I thought about doing this for quite a while. Now, if white were to blunder and do knight takes G2, then I would follow it up with queen takes F1 checkmate. So they're probably not going to do that. I mean, you always want to make a move assuming that your opponent's going to make the best response. So let's say queen takes G2. There's really no follow-up to that. So queen takes G2, and there's really nothing to do next. I mean, you can't go queen to E4 and juggle some sort of mate trick because it doesn't work. The white queen would defend to E4 in such a case, and it could also slide back over to E2. So those ideas don't work. So, and I quickly disregarded that after going through those two sequences. And then I started looking at the knight to D3 check sequences, which look a little bit more promising, and here's why. So let's say I go knight to D3 check. If white were to blunder and take with the pawn on C2, C takes D3, then I would go queen takes F1 checkmate. Now, if white is any good, they're probably not going to do that. So we have to give our opponent credit and assume that they're going to make the best response. So if I go knight to D3 check and the queen were to take my knight like this, it actually defends the rook on F1. So I got stuck here for a while calculating moves really deep on, could this work? I mean, no, it doesn't, because my queen can't take the rook on F1 because white's queen would take my queen, and that's that. So I got off of that idea, and it finally struck me about 20 minutes in what the proper sequence could be with something like this. So it's really for a different reason. So instead of thinking that white's taking my knight and looking at it in the sense of that, really how we want to look at it is we're deflecting white's queen away from the F2 square. So when I make this check, it's more for that purpose, more than a mating juggling act. So the white queen takes here, and we use a really cool interference tactic with bishop to F2 check, because now that queen moved away from D2, it doesn't defend that square. And we need that because it blocks the rook from taking my queen after I take their queen. So now I take here, or he moves here because he's in check, and then I go here with check. Now, if the white king goes here or something, now I have time to move my queen away with check. But the point of the problem is using my bishop for interference allows my queen to get away in time, and then I can still take their queen. So I lose my knight, but I win a queen. So really cool tactic using deflection and interference.